Hey guys, welcome everybody to Swahili Nation One Africa. I am so grateful to be here today. Man, I just want to appreciate everybody who is joining, and please do me a favor and let me know in the comment section where you're watching from. It is very important. I want to know where you're joining us from, whatever place you are in the continent or outside of the continent. It's very important to let us know where you're joining us from. It's very important. And I'm very excited because today right here, we're going to have very productive conversation. All right. Very productive conversation. I have three of my brothers here today. They'll be joining me in this live. I have my brother from Mali. I have my brother from Burkina Faso. And also we have another brother from Uganda. He'll be joining us here for the very first time. Very interesting people here today. And also me as well from Africa. And we're going to be talking about Niger. And also we're going to be talking about, Mali, Burkina Faso, and everything that is happening. And so let me lay down the foundation a little bit before I invite my brothers to come here and to start to have this conversation. So one of the things that we're going to do here today, first of all, we're going to have a little bit of the background story, like of Niger and what is happening right now. For those who do not know what is happening in Niger, or what has been there, we're going to have a little bit of recap of what's going on for you guys to know what is happening. That will be the first thing we're going to do. The second thing, we're going to talk about the military coup in former French colonies, because we see these things are happening a lot, especially in this region of western part of Africa. I was saying earlier that, since 2000 until right now, 10 different coups have happened in Burkina Faso, Mali, Chad, Niger, and in this region, a lot of things have been happening. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Why is that? And in all these French colonies. And also another thing that we're going to talk about, the exploitation of resources of countries colonized by French. I'm going to talk about that because we've seen that a lot, and I think we've been talking about that for some time. We're going to hear, different opinions from our brothers, and also you guys can comment in the comment section. And also we're going to talk about the puppet leadership that we have mostly in our countries. We have witnessed a lot of time that we have leaders who are not really there to save the needs and the wants of the people, but rather to save the interests of the West. I think those accusations we have seen a lot, even towards AU, and also toward Ecowas, and toward our countries and our leaders as well. So we're going to talk about that. Why is that? What is behind all these things? And also, the last point that is very interesting, and I love this, we're going to talk about the rise of the new African leadership, all right? Because we are seeing this. We are seeing the rise of African leadership all over the continent. And it's fascinating and it's beautiful to see the development and the rising of this leadership. And to the point where you see, we have a lot of African descendants moving back to the continent right now because, man, the house is on fire, all right? In a good way, the house is on fire. So everything that is happening, yes, revolution is going to cost a lot of lives, it's going to cost a lot of things, but it's fascinating to see how Africa is changing. And I feel so privileged to be, part of this and to see this transformation happening in the continent. So those will be a couple of the points that I'm going to talk about. And finally, we're going to have the Q&A session. So I want you guys to jump in and to share your questions, your points. Still have the time. Don't comment your questions right now. So just save your questions somewhere, and then there'll be a time that I'll tell you guys to comment your section. Your questions, and then we'll go through them, all over together. So yeah, without wasting time, I'm just gonna, raise a word of prayer, and then I'll invite my brothers here to come and start this conversation. God, I thank you that you brought us here today, Africans from all over the world, from all tribes, all nationalities, all religions. We're just here to talk about this beautiful continent and the beautiful country of Niger. As we talk about so many things to just get the information of what is happening and what should be done to save our people. But mostly we pray for peace. We pray for stability of that country. We pray for the safety of our people. And please come and be with us from the beginning until the end of this conversation. I pray in your name. Amen. All right, so it's good to see everybody here. So guys, ladies and gentlemen, without wasting time, let me have a moment to welcome my brother, Nabelu. from Mali. Welcome to the family. And also let me have a time to welcome my brother, Matua Job, from all the way from Uganda. And also,
asanteni sana ndugu.
Welcome. Also, let me have a moment to welcome my brother Mohammed Basiru, all the way from Burkina Faso. So, without wasting time, I want us to start with a little bit of introduction. And maybe we can start with my brother from Mali here, Nabelu, to just, let people know who are you and what you're doing and anything that you love to share with the people. Welcome. Oh, you're muted, my brother.
Thank you. Hey. Thank you so much, Micah. It's always a pleasure being with you. And I really love to be around fellow Africans and like-minded Africans. So my name is Nabelu. I am from Mali. I currently live in the United States, and I have a podcast, a platform where I talk about mismanagement of resources, corruption, and I try to promote Africa and Mali in the meantime. And so I really look forward to having this conversation, as I said, and I think it's going to be very interesting.
Appreciate my brother. I've had a couple time conversation with my brother Balu last year. We had a conversation about Mali multiple times, so you guys can go and check them out. He's a good friend of ours, and we've been doing this thing for Africa, so I appreciate it. And let me remind everybody who is joining, remember to like this video, and you can share, and also do not hesitate to subscribe. It's very important. In that way, you'll help us to spread our message to even a lot of people out there. So please like right now, subscribe, and share this video as soon as possible. We love you guys. Oh, my brother, Matua Job Richard, man, welcome. It's good to have this conversation with you for the very first time. Would you please kindly introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you very much, my brother, Ndugu Savela, and my other brother from Mali and Burkina Faso. Where is the person from Burkina Faso?
He just left, but I think we'll have him. Yes.
Yes. By names, I'm called Matua Job Richard. I am from Kampala, Uganda. Matua Job Richard is an acid-tested, award-winning Pan-Africanist and a very fierce patriot. Somebody who is anti-corruption crusader in Uganda, fighting big corruption wars, and an aspiring candidate for national vice chairman of the ruling party of National Resistance Movement, NRM, in Uganda. Thank you very much.
Appreciate. Welcome, Matua Job. I had a pleasure to meet up with Matua Job in Ethiopia 2 months ago. We were invited there for one of the very high-level summits that included all the countries that the River Nile actually crossed by. And Matua Job, he had a moment to give a speech. I shared that video here in Swahili Nation. So it was really a pleasure to connect with him. And right now he's here. Welcome to the family, my brother.
Thank you very much, brother. And I am willing to go into the depth of this discussion because it touches my spinal cord.
Yeah, I love that. All right, so without wasting time, I would like to give an opportunity to my brother from Mali, Nabelu, to share with us a little bit historical context of what is happening in Niger, and especially for those who do not know what is happening there, to just give a little bit a historical context of what is happening. And my brother Matua there, you'll have that an opportunity to add as well. Nabelu.
All right. Thank you again for the floor. So what is happening in Niger right now is what has been happening also in a lot of West African countries. So there was a coup last week. The last president, elected president, Mohamed Bazoum, was taken from office, and he's currently being helmed by the general in charge, the current general in charge. So it just goes to show that the policies, right, that have been French policies towards Africa has failed, and all the peace talks and resolutions that they try to pass also have failed. So personally, I believe that this is a problem that has to do with mismanagement of resources and corruption. So something that you have to know about the country Niger when they talk about the democracy that they're fighting currently is that Niger never had a successful transfer of power from a democratically elected president to another. The first one was in 2021, and that also happened after an attempted coup. So there was never a democracy in this country. There's always been leaders that don't represent the people and that don't really do what the people actually want. So what we are seeing currently in West Africa is to tell the West to stop supporting the candidates that don't do work for the people. Because one thing that you also have to know is that Niger is a big country. There's 25 million people who live there, and most of them live in the south. Niger has been plagued with insurgencies. It has been plagued with rebel movements. A lot of them also plagued with climate change. So the desert is growing, the conflicts are rising. So the presidents are not addressing those situations. And it's something that are everywhere. And I really hope that there will be a wake up. This will be a wake up call for the West to change their policies towards us.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Matua Job, do you have anything to add to that?
First of all, I would like to thank my brothers who are online with us here, and my other brothers and sisters who are watching us in this conversation. Before I would delve into the issue in West Africa, I want to give historical context into the problem of the problem we are dealing with. 400 to 500
Oh, no. We're just losing our brother there. We're losing our brother, man. What is happening with this internet? So hopefully we'll have our brother back as soon as possible. He was about to drop some bombs here. I know this brother. Hopefully it's all well with Uganda, man. Yeah. This is issue, with Africa's internet. Anyways, so our brother will be back here, and we're gonna connect with him very soon. Let me just do like this, and let's move forward. These are challenges we're facing in the continent, guys. All right, so my brother, I think for now let's just jump to the first question that we are going to cover here today. And also, my brother, I'm having a little bit hard time to hear your voice, a little bit too low. So I don't know if it is
for me.
Yeah. It's a little bit. All right. Hello. No. I'm not here now.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Now I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
Is it better?
All right. Yeah, now it's better. So much better. So,
okay, cool.
So now let's dive into the very first conversation that we're gonna be having here today. The military coups in former French colonies. So we have seen this everywhere. In your case, in the country of Mali, last year you guys stood up and you kicked them out. But we see this tendency of military coup in all these French colonies. I just want to know, why that is the case, and why it seems like in this region there will be no end to military coup. And for example, right now in Niger, you see military coup, in fact, kidnapping even the president and be there standing for the country. I want to know, why is this, and how are we gonna get out of this? Just in general.
Okay. In general, there is a lot to be said about it. But like I mentioned, it has a lot to do with the stance that the West has been taking towards West African countries. Just if we go very back to the time of how this whole thing started and how the colonies even started. If you notice, the British and the other countries have colonized some African countries for economic reasons. But France has done it for ideological reasons. So that's why after colonization ended, it was very easy for the British to leave and to let the former British colonies actually have their own country run by the way they want. But for France, they had philosophers at the time. There is a big one called Voltaire. A lot of people read it. We used to read it at school. We used to read his books. But it's after I came to America that I realized that the man was, to his core, very racist. He's someone who believed that Black people are just apes compared to apes, and that French and white people were sent upon us from God to save us and to give us civilization, although we had the first civilizations in the past. So that ideology that France had ever since has been reflected upon the Africans currently that have really embodied that philosophy and that become president and work for France in this sense. So the presidents for Mali, for example, they are not oriented towards Africa. That's why we talk about the idea of Pan-Africanism, right? They are all oriented towards France. They write loans, they indebt the country, they don't build schools, they don't create services, they don't create job outputs for the population, and that is very bad. And it's people that they support. So instead of them trying to have a league to fight the coup, they should have a league to promote good governance. Like I always try to mention, the last president of Mali embezzled billions of dollars. It's 300 billion of our currency, which is a lot of money. So it cannot be done without the West knowing that this is happening. So the stance that they have taken in supporting those people that do protect their interests but don't protect the interests of Africans is what is happening. The same thing has been happening in Senegal currently. The president have tried to do everything to stop the opposition leader who is African oriented, right? So Mali is the same thing. The last president was very, very oriented towards the West. He wanted us to be, I don't know, some type of annex to France, which is what a lot of Africans now are raising their voice, saying that the movement of Pan-Africanism should live long, and the presidents that we want should be there. And if a president comes in and doesn't do what we want, there'll be a lot of problems when it comes to their tenure. So that's just what is happening now, and I believe that it's all due to the West.
In fact, what you mentioned, Nebelu, that ideology actually came from Greek. Greeks believe that if you have the long nose, not like the one Africans we have, and if you have the white skin, if you have blue eyes, if you have the long hair, and if you have the tiny little lips, you were actually born to be a leader. And the rest, you're born to be a slaves. That's where ideology came. Today I mentioned even democracy. The idea of democracy actually came from Greek. The word called demokrasia. That's where it originated. So so because of that ideology, that's what actually brought colonization. And even us Africans, even in the US, back in the days, we were treated like half animals, right? And we don't have that value to anybody because, of course, of our mouth, our nose, our hair, our eyes. That's where the whole idea, began long time ago. So I really appreciate for you sharing that. And I just had to throw that. And that's what we have been adapting until today. But I really appreciate that we have our brother Matua Job. He's back here. Matua Job, welcome back. You had a little bit issue with the internet. So would you mind to continue with that historical context of what has been happening?
Yeah, thank you very much. First of all, my very sincere apology to my African brother and sister. I am really extremely at high voltage to discuss this matter. And I would have fallen sick if I could not submit tonight. Historically, 400 to 500 years back, the Western world, together with America, USA, took African, able-bodied African away from the continent, away from the motherland, to build Europe and USA. So the ideology was of enslaving us, the African. So the ideology of slavery, enslaving the black man, enslaving anybody who is not rated to be a white man. I'm not here starting a battle of race, but I want to make it very clear. 400 to 500 years back, Africans were taken, able-bodied one. We are taken to USA, we are taken to Europe in the name of slaves. Now, when they completed building the economies in the USA and in Europe, then these people came up with a trick that now they want to abolish slavery. Now slavery was abolished. But actually, slavery was not abolished. They instead resolved to use the Africans in their own continent to produce more raw material, because the continent is the most fertile, to produce more raw material for the industries that had come in USA and in Europe. So actually, slavery was not abolished, but was turned to another form, hence the colonization of Africa. Now, the colonization came to a period when the imperialists, the capitalists, they fought among themselves in the war we refer to as world wars. These were not world wars. These were wars among the imperialists who were fighting for dominance over us, the African, and the other part of the colonies they had. So these world wars weakened them, and they could not sustain their conquest of the colonies. Hence, they had to come up with another trick to give a fake independence to the countries they had colonized. In fact, I will tell you that for France, it was even worse. The France did not actually give independence at all, because the France continued to influence everything. Printing of money in those countries that were colonized by Africa, no, by France, is done in France. Resource, money, reserve, foreign reserves of these countries, even national reserves, are kept in a Bank of France. So actually, France did everything to make sure that what it actually gave these countries was a paper independence, was not actually any independence to say the least. Not even political independence, leave alone the economic independence that they did not grant at all. France did not even give political independence. France continued to dictate the kind of leaders that must be in those countries. These leaders must listen exclusively to the authorities in France. So, this historical context must be looked into when we are discussing the current crisis in West Africa. Now, having looked at this historical context, what is it then? So, I want to pre-conclusively say that actually, West African countries and the other former French colonies did not get independence. Actually, the white men replaced themselves with the black men to lead for themselves their former colonies from West Africa. I can tell you France was taken, according to the former ambassador of AU to USA, Ambassador Ariakana, France took $500 billion worth of resources from Africa every year. 500 billion worth of resources from its former colonies in Africa every year. In fact, my brother Chavela, the economies in East Africa, the GDPs in East Africa combined, if you add them all together, they don't even reach 500 billion US dollars. The GDPs of all the 7 countries in East Africa, if you sum them together, They don't.
My brother's having issues with internet. Wow. All right. Let me hear from Muhammad Basiru, my brother Muhammad. Welcome. Our brother Muhammad is from Burkina Faso. He's in Burkina Faso right now. We are talking about the military coups in former French colonies. That's our first topic that we're talking about. So my brother, you can go ahead. Mohammed Basiru, you can unmute yourself. Okay, yeah, go ahead,
yes,
my brother.
Mika. Yeah.
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. This is the son of Sankara right here. Welcome to the farm, my brother.
Yeah, I'm very fine. I hope you two are fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so sorry because I was in a car and also have a strong internet problem here. That's why.
Yeah.
So maybe can you please restart by your question? And
oh yeah. We are talking about the first very topic of today, the military coups in former French colonies. We're seeing that everywhere in French colonies, and we're talking about that a little bit. So if you have anything to add to that, we'd really appreciate
Going on.
Yes.
My brother.
You can go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Now, I have just ended with the historical context of the crisis we are seeing in West Africa, which by and large is a bigger thing for the whole of the continent and the other former colonies of these former colonizers, the imperialists from Europe and America. So now, what we are seeing in West Africa now is the struggle for real independence. What we are seeing
Oh, no. All right. It's gonna be a long day. So, my brother Nabu, what do you have to say from what our brother Matua Job from Uganda has been sharing with us? Is there anything you'd like to add that?
I believe he's right when he talks about the effects of imperialism and colonialism. So for me personally, I try to also look our faults in it, right? It's that now we've seen countries like Botswana that have trying to get away with the World Bank deals and stuff like that. So it is really possible for us to move away from it. So the points that he's mentioning is very spot on. If we cannot talk about the future of Africa without talking about the past and everything that led us to being here. And I appreciated the conversation he had with that.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
My brother.
My brother, welcome back.
Thank you. I'm suspected that this imperialist could be the one disconnecting me. Because the internet is okay. My data is enough. I'm telling you this. Mimi ni mbaya kabisa ndugu Sevilla. Now, what we are seeing in West Africa now is the actual struggle for the real independence. I said we did not get independence at all. For the British, they gave the political independence, but they retained the economic independence. But for France, it did not give both political and economic independence. So what we are seeing in West Africa now, what we are seeing in Burkina Faso, what we are seeing in Niger, what we are seeing in Mali, what we saw in Guinea, Conakry, is the actual struggle for independence. I want to congratulate these military officers that overthrew the Western puppets in these countries. They have lit a flame, a glorious flame that is lighting the entire continent. That is causing debate in the whole country of Africa. You can imagine these imperialists have put me offline. Light has gone off. But if you can listen to me, let me talk.
Yes, yes.
Mr. Sevilla. Please, please.
Yes.
So, therefore, these military generals are the actual Pan-Africanists. They have captured the power from the imperialists. That is why the French, the British, the Europeans, the Americans are panicking. Uranium that powers the nuclear power plant in France is coming from Niger, and in Niger, 30% of the uranium that is used to power the nuclear power plant in France is coming from Niger, and in Niger, 80% of the population do not receive electricity at all. Niger, which is contributing the basic raw material that powers the nuclear power plant in France, 80% are not having power. Ndugu Sevilla, is this really democracy? This is the broad day robbery of African resources. Thank you very much, Colonel, who overthrew this Western perfect. You can imagine, gold is coming from Niger. If you go to France, France is among country number 4 with gold reserves in the world. France does not have any gold mine, not even one. Where is the gold the France is accumulating coming from? From the former French colonies in Africa. So we must say enough is enough. What these generals have done should be appreciated by ECOWAS, should be appreciated by African Union, should be appreciated by an entire black race in the world, that once in a lifetime we now have people, we have leaders who are truly looking in the direction of Pan-Africanism. We must help these leaders to keep true to their vision, to keep true to their ideology. We must support them to ensure that they succeed, so that their example can be cascaded throughout the continent. Once and for all, we liberate this continent from the enslavement.
Oh yeah, once again.
I am more than ready to go in. I'm more than ready to go into the battlefield if ECOWAS announce a war against these brothers of ours in Niger. Because we have to defend Africa. We must speak. My brother Sevilla, there are people like you, the people like my other brothers who are here on the line, there are people who are listening to us. I am calling upon all the African elite to use this platform of internet and really unpack the Western life and really promote a pro-narrative of the African. ECOWAS is supposed to be economically.
Yeah. All right. All right.
What was ECOWAS doing when the president of Senegal almost overthrew the constitution to run again? What was ECOWAS doing when elections were stolen in Nigeria? President Tinubu is not the genuine winner of the election. What was ECOWAS doing when in Chad, the son of the president replaced the president without any election? Was that democratic election? What was ECOWAS doing when Bonjour, the president of Niger, surrendered the entire resources of the country to the French, and then his countrymen and women were wallowing in abject poverty? What was ECOWAS doing if it is a truly economic community of West Africa? I therefore want to declare ECOWAS impotent. I want to declare ECOWAS void. I want to declare ECOWAS irrelevant to African interests. In fact, countries should withdraw from that border. I thank you very much.
Thank you so much, my brother. And because you already mentioned ECOWAS, I wanted to go a different direction, but let me build up on what you say. So
yes,
one of the reasons we have seen these organizations that are supposed to stand there for Africa, ECOWAS, African Union, our own very organization that is supposed to bring us together, but we are seeing this tendency of actually, for me, I've released a video today saying that I'm seeing them working actually against the people of our countries, because what is happening in Niger right now, you will see that people are supporting what is going on. They're supporting the military government that is there because they believe they're there for the interest of its people. But then looking at the organization like ECOWAS, you see they are on the same side with France, with the United States, you know, speaking about democracy. So I want us to dive a little bit into this democracy, because in Africa, we have seen a lot of things happening. We have seen a lot of our brothers being killed, you know, entire continent because of democracy. So I don't want to say that democracy is bad. I don't want to say that, but you know, I'm seeing people hiding behind the idea of democracy to protect their food, to protect what they're doing. So even right now, ECOWAS is putting sanction on Niger because of that. They say, you know, we're giving you guys 15 days. You need to leave and you need to bring back the president. Otherwise, you know, something is going to happen. And, you know, Burkina Faso, Mali joining and be like, you know what, you know, we are standing with Niger. You guys want to bring it on? We're ready for the war. In the name of democracy, that we want to defend democracy. And so I want us to talk a bit about this. You know, what are your thoughts? I'm going to start with my brother from Mali, Nabelium. What is your thought about this, you know, democracy and what these organizations that are supposed to actually stand for the people of Africa, but they seem not to stand for the people of Africa? And we can even share the experience last year with Mali, because they put a lot of sanction on Mali, and people that they were struggling, they were actually innocent people. It was not leaders, it was not anybody else, but people, they were struggling and dying because of the sanction that not America, not France, but ECOWAS, like the organization that's supposed to stand for Africa, put on the fellow African.
So thank you so much. Thank you for both of you. And what you said is very insightful and great. The problem for democracy is, especially in Africa, we are not saying that we are against democracy, that we support autocracy or we support dictators, but we are saying that we have to make sure that the systems that you have in place are actually working for Africans. I'll give you an example. In Mali, we have 25 million people. So when the election happens, only 28% of the people who are able to vote actually vote. That is less than 3 out of 10. So there is no understanding of how democracy works. In Mali, the majority of people cannot tell you what is the role, what is the mission of the senator, or what is the mission of the congressman. They don't have any idea. So there is no explanation of how democracy works. There is no attempt to help the people understand how democracy works. This thing is still very new to West Africans, and it's trying to be like imposed and forced upon us to have it a system and embrace the system and love the system, but only a few people understand it. Because if you go back to the areas where the French people left in 1960 in Mali, the results of that, the power was given to the elites, right? So those are the same guys that have still been there. Is their parties, their political party that have always been in power from 1960 till now. So it's a group of people that only understands this system, this diplomacy thing, but the vast majority of people do not understand it. So what they are actually saying, that if we talk about the people that are liking Assimi Goïta for what he's doing, it's because for so long, for more than 60 years, they have been left out of the system, right? Less than 1 million, less than 2 million people voted for the president, and which is in Mali, and we call that a democracy. It's not a democracy. So they're saying that in Niger today, that they will go and attack the leaders of the coup because they want to protect democracy. They want to fight for democracy. But like I told you, Niger has never been a democracy. Just one time in the history of this country, there was a transfer of power from a politically elected leader to another one, right? So there is no democracy that you're fighting for. And which is something that is even crazy, is that today they're telling us that they are against the guy that did the coup in Niger, right? They don't want to see him. They don't want to talk to him. They want to kill him. They want to have sanctions on him and everything. But history tells us that in 2010, there was a coup in Niger by a general called Samu Djibo. If you Google it, just Google Djibo and Sarkozy. In 2010, after he's done the coup, 5 months later, he was invited into the Elysee to shake hands with the president of France. So how can it be possible that in 2010, the same country, the same democratically elected president was overthrown by a coup leader that you have accepted, that you have taken, that you have shook hands with, that you didn't impose sanctions on? But today, in 2023, the same thing happened, but you are telling us that you are fighting for democracy because he overthrew a democratically elected president. That is the type of hypocrisy that Africans will talk about when they fight for democracy. That is one point. The second point is when it comes to supporting coup leaders, there is the opposition leader, right? That was there when Gaddafi was alive. His name was Mustafa Abdel. There is a video of a philosopher, a French philosopher, that always goes to talk to opposition leaders. There is a video of them having a conversation planning the killing of Gaddafi. They were saying, okay, we will support you. We will make you, we will legitimize you by having you come to France after we kill Gaddafi and shake hands with the French president. And if that happens, everybody else will support you and accept you. And guess what happened? After Gaddafi was killed, he went to France and he shook hand with the president right after. In Mauritania, there was a coup with there was a general that did a coup, Mohamed Val, in 2005. He did the coup. There was no sanction on him. He went to France and shook hands with Chirac, the French president. The same thing happened again in Togo. For Gnassingbé, he did a coup in 2007. And he was welcome in France, shook hands with Sarkozy, shook hands with Chirac. He was in power for 18 years after a coup. He's still president today. So they're accepting him for doing a coup after 18 years, and they go to Togo, they shake hands with him, they invite him to the gala and to the party. It happened in Burkina Faso. Blaise Compaoré, when he did the coup in 87, he was invited in France after the coup. So the same thing happened again in Central Africa. Francois Bozize tried to do the coup multiple times, at least 5 times. And after he succeeded, he was invited in France and shook hands with the French president. He stayed in power for 10 years. So we are saying that if you tell us that you fight for democracy, we have to see that fight with what you do. You tell us that you don't like the coup leaders in Mali, Burkina, Guinea, and Niger, but you support the coup leader, I mean, the president in Chad that have not been democratically elected, that also came in the same circumstances after his father died. That told us that he was going to do election after 18 months. It's been 2 years. He still haven't done the elections. So you don't talk about that. You still name him to be a mediator between the CEDEAO and Niger, but he's not democratically elected. So we are not saying that we are against democracy. Again, we want everybody to play fair. The same thing is happening in Senegal. The Senegalese president, Macky Sall, is using every means possible to remove the opposition leader, right? So that is not democracy, right? So you guys have all the tools that you can have to manipulate the system to make sure that your opponents stay away from power, but you are telling us that you're fighting for democracy. There's a lot of Paul Biya in Cameroon having president for 40 years. I was not born before he was president, but he's still there. You still accept him, but you tell us in Mali that you fight for democracy. You accept the Chadian president. You invite him. You shake hands with him. You've traveled. The French president traveled from France to Chad and sat with him, had a conversation with him. But he's not a democratically elected president. He came after a coup. So what is the system that you are taking to judge these people and forcing us to like them or dislike them based on your liking?
Wow. That's I really appreciate for everything that you've given. I love the historic context that you've given and all those evidence. Like those were like more than 10 different evidence. And this is you're just exposing the hypocrisy of
if I can share my screen, I will show you. Yeah. I will show you the pictures where you can also see what I'm actually saying. So I don't know if I can do that. Is it possible to
Oh yeah, you can do it. Oh, you can do it. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just give me 2 seconds. Let me find.
Yeah. You know, in that spirit, I would love, as you're sharing, I would love to, you know, okay, my brother, he left already. Then I'll just wait for that, because you know, Burkina Faso, it's very interesting place as well. You know, they're in transition leadership, and they have this one youngest leader. I think he's capturing a lot of hearts of Africans because of what he did in Russia and what he spoke. I wanted to hear him saying, but let me just wait for you to share this. And
can I give a small information?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
First of all, I want to thank my brother from Mali very much. My brother, thank you very much.
Yes.
And I want to appreciate the examples you gave us. So Ndugu Sevilla, in the production of this video, those are the things we, the African elite, should now be talking now. That look, these imperialists are not consistent in their standards. There is no certainty. There is no predictability in their ways of doing things. In one country, they are supporting a military coup. In another country, they are refusing it in the name of democracy. So are they really interested in democracy? They are not interested in democracy. It is about their interest. NATO under the influence of USA and France bombed Libya in the name of democracy. Is Libya democratic today? Is Libya any better than it was during the time of Gaddafi? Libya has become an open market of slave trade. Libya, which had everything free, which was the best in the Africa in terms of living standard, is now down to zero. Is that democracy? So I want to tell you that the use of democracy is just a window dressing. It is a decoy to deceive us. So democracy was a short change of African. We were shortchanged with democracy because these guys kept choosing for us who they want. That is why there are very many countries where they instigate coup d'etat and go ahead to shamelessly support the coup people if they serve their interest. But now in this Niger, Mali, Guinea, Burkina Faso, where the coup plotters are in the interest of Africa, now they are coming out in the name of democracy. We should tell them, you know what? Shut up. Shame on you. We have seen you the other time supporting the military coup, shaking hand with the people who overthrew a democratically elected government yesterday. What are you telling us today? Keep quiet. These people are not democratic at all. I want to tell you, my brothers and sisters in Africa and everywhere, these people are exclusively after their interest. That is why they killed Gaddafi for wanting to unite Africa, because it did not serve their interest, and then they are trying to support President Bozoum, former President Bozoum, in the name of democracy. They are not democratic at all, and we must not accept to be lied anytime, no more, and we must say no more.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's exactly what we're saying. So this is the current president of Chad. You still see my screen, right?
Yes, right here.
Okay, so this is the current president of Chad. So the story with him is that there was a very, very big fight in Chad in 2021, right before the last president was killed, which is his dad. There was a rebellion that happened, and as soon as Idris Deby died, the rebellion stopped. Right after it, there was no other fighting that was happening. And so when he died, the French President Macron flew to Chad. This picture was taken during his funeral. And so what I was saying in this Twitter post is that the West have always been supporting people based on their own interest. And the guy is not democratically elected right now, and he refused to do the election. Then he's still in power, but he was named to go talk to Niger about the coup that was happening to preserve democracy. But he's not himself democratically elected. So in this video, this is the French philosopher that was talking to the leader, the opposition leader of Gaddafi. In the video, he's explicitly saying, I don't know if you can hear the video. Can you hear it, Micah?
Yes, now we can hear.
Let me show you. You can hear his voice? You can hear his voice, Micah?
I can hear, but you're gonna have to mute yourself because of echo.
Okay. It's very important to hear what it.
No fly zone. Okay. Number 2, bombing of the airport of Sirte, of the airport of Sema in the south. Saba. Bombing.
Okay, يعني حصار جوي وقصف سرت
and the bombing of the bunker of Gaddafi. Number 3, the legitimate representative of the Libyan people cannot be Gaddafi now.
شرعية الدول الليبية مش قذافي تو.
It should be you and the committee. We take the plane tomorrow. We are in Paris Monday morning, and President Sarkozy will receive you with all the.
So, did you hear what he was saying? The video, he's saying in the video that they would bomb Gaddafi, they would bomb the airport, and that the true leader of Libya cannot be Gaddafi and can be this opposition leader. And he's also saying that in order to make all of this legitimized, right, they will fly him tomorrow to meet with Sarkozy on Monday so he can be the true president of Libya. And guess what? Guess what happened? That's exactly what happened. They flew him to Libya and to France, and he shook hands with him, and now he's the true leader of Libya. And this is not the thing. This is not the first time. This guy did the coup in Mauritania in 2005. So if they're saying that we have sanctions on people who do coup, we tried to kill them, but why didn't you kill them? Why did you invite this one to France? This is the same guy that did the coup in 2010 in Niger. 5 months later, literally 5 months later, he was invited and they're shaking hands with the French President Sarkozy. But today they're telling us this one should be killed, but this one is accepted. What is the difference? This guy did the coup in Togo in 2007. 18 years later, he's still president. This is him with Chirac. He was president when Sarkozy was there. He was president when Hollande was there. And now he's president and Macron is here. They're not talking about democracy. This guy killed Sankara, I mean, allegedly, and in 1995. And he met with the French presidents multiple times. And he stayed in power for a long time because he left in 2014. Imagine, 1995 to 2014. How many years is that? They accepted him. Nothing happened. This is Bozize that I was talking about. He tried to do the coup multiple times. He succeeded in 2003, and he met multiple times with the French presidents, you know? And this is the kind of hypocrisy that we are talking about when you do the fight for democracy. You cannot tell us that certain leaders are better than others. You have to either judge everybody by the same book, or literally, like your friend just said, shut up about it.
People here appreciate for those evidence. They're asking to share the link to that video. So do you mind to drop the link in the comments?
I will share. So it's from my Twitter, and I don't have to share the link.
You can just share the link of your Twitter, or you can just write the name of your Twitter, and people will just go there to find out.
It's let me share it again so you can see it.
Yeah, you can just write here in the comment, all private, and then I will share. I want to take this moment to appreciate Esla Mill. for joining membership again of the family. John Kofi, we appreciate you for joining the membership as well. That is helping our channel. And also want to appreciate Curtis Michelle for the super chat, and Veins of African Blood. We want to appreciate you guys for that. It means a lot. Being here and also taking an extra mile, it means a lot to the family. So I appreciate that. I want to jump to something else little quick. I think we lost our brother and the internet issue. So we're just gonna move on with this conversation. I want to show you something. So today I released a video and I was talking about two different things, like why Niger. The first one, I think my brother from Matua Job from Uganda, he mentioned, actually it's 40% of electricity in France, it actually comes from Niger uranium, while more than 90% of Niger people, they don't have electricity. Right, that's one of the reasons, because of the richness that is in that country. And it's the same thing with when you go to, Sudan right now, they have war. The same thing when you go to Congo, they have issues like that. The same thing when you go to Ethiopia, and you go to so many countries out there, a lot of things are happening. But another interesting thing, let me just expand this map a little bit longer. All right. Family, take a look at this map right here. All right, this one right here is Niger. Niger is here right now. But Niger is actually at the middle of so many different countries. You have Algeria on this side. You have Libya on this side. You have Chad on this side. You have Nigeria. You have Burkina Faso right here. You have Benin, right? And you have Mali here. And all these countries, they're going through a lot, all right? All these countries. So the geographical position of Niger, it's very, very crucial and very, very important for people like France to be here, for people like, United States. You see them as well putting their nose into this business as well as usual to be here. It's very, very important. They did to Libya already. Mali last year, we all know what is happening. What has been happening in Burkina Faso? You have Benin here, you have Chad here, Nigeria, and so many other countries right here. You have Benin here, even Cameroon a little bit here. Yeah, so the geographical position of this country, it's very, very, very important, because being here, it means you have an access to all these different other parts right here. I want to hear a little bit your thoughts, and let me give this opportunity first to Muhammad, my brother Muhammad Basiru, to give that thought, but also you can give a thought to Burkina Faso as well, because I know Burkina Faso, you are in the transition right now, government with the youngest leader, and a lot of us will love him, for what he said. I would just love to hear your thoughts and what you would like to say. Muhammad, come on. Hello, Muhammad. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me too?
Yes, we can hear you, brother.
Oh, I'm so sorry for this time, because I actually have an issue here.
Yes.
No worries, yeah. What I can say regarding what is happening here in West Africa, in Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger is that
hello, my brother.
Look, look, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Our countries was living. Our country were living in in a situation where people were in poverty because of the politics and.
Oh man. Then I'm gonna have to kindly move on to you, my brother from Mali, to kind of like share about this, and we can hear from Muhammad soon once his internet is stable. We really appreciate for your patience, guys.
If you can share the screen for the map, it would be great so people can see it.
Once again. Indeed.
All right. So it's huge. Mali is twice as big as France, and I think 13 or 14 times as big as Italy. And Niger is also quite big, as you can see. From coast to coast, it's, I believe, 3,500 miles of it's just gigantic. So just looking at the map of Mali, you can understand how the war against terrorism can be very hard. Mali doesn't have a lot of like air system that is able to monitor this massive land 24/7. So what is very interesting about the fight for against terrorism is that for so long, for the past 10 years, they have been telling us that we had French soldiers on the ground. We had at least 5,000 French soldiers on the ground, and some 16,000 with MINUSMA and the UN. Those people failed. After 10 years, there has been more than 16,000 people that have died just in Mali. There is more than 2,000 schools closed in Mali, and there is 2,500 schools closed in Burkina currently. The situation is very bad. Like there is a lot of migration that have been happening. There is a lot of videos that you can see. People from my hometown in the center of Mali have been fleeing from terrorism. So in 10 years, there has not been an improvement at all whatsoever. After all of this money they have spent, the budget of the UN that they were spending in Mali alone is 1,200,000,000 a year. And this is the same also, I believe, from in Congo, is the same from they have, I think they have another mission in Eritrea, and I believe, I can be mistaken, and Sudan as well. So all these billions of dollars have been where that money has been coming. In the span of 1 year, 2 years, I'll say, the transitional government under Assimi Goïta has increased the military twice. So we came from 30,000 people on the ground to 72,000 people. The military bases that have been built in Mali have never happened under no democratically elected president. The number the cars, right? The equipment for the military. I can share videos as well. I don't know how to, if people want to see actually the purchases of equipment that have happening. They have bought a lot of trucks. They have bought a lot of ammunition. They have bought a lot of tanks, right? So we ask ourselves, in just 2 years, how can they buy all of this stuff? But in 10 years, we didn't have a quarter of everything that these guys bought, right? So Mali and Niger are landlocked. If you see CDAO, you can kind of draw, right? All these countries in the bottom are part of Ecowas. So we have Guinea, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Togo, Benin, Nigeria, all of them, and Senegal. So they're effectively keeping Mali and Niger landlocked. So we don't have access to sea because of, and so every time that there is a coup, they do sanctions, because how can you get your oil? How can you get your food? How can you get your products from China? How can you get your rice from Thailand if you are landlocked? So I believe that the inception of this organization is really to force these certain countries to adhere to certain policies that fit them time to time. You mentioned Niger produces uranium. It's true that they have a lot. Currently, they reduced their imports to France. So it's not 40, it's close to 20%. Okay. The whole European Union, right? Niger provides them with the most uranium, the whole European Union, close to 20%. So Niger is the #1 provider of uranium to the European Union. And you add that Kazakhstan, which is also 20%. You add Russia, which is also 20%. So currently, they have not been getting uranium from Russia and Kazakhstan, right?
Yeah.
So it's like 40%.
Man.
And now there is another 20% that they are in phase to lose in Niger. Like I said, Niger is the #1 provider of uranium. So you can already understand how this is a big geopolitical issue. They try to do the energy transition from uranium and everything, but it's not been working because of the war in Russia. So they heavily, the European Union heavily now more than any time depend on the uranium of Niger, because like I said, it's been cut from Russia and from Kazakhstan. It's 60% that they have not 60% uranium decrease. On top of that, Niger, someone is mentioning 80% of Niger doesn't have electricity. Yes, it's the same thing with my country as well, Mali. I think close to 70% of electricity that Niger has comes from Nigeria. And just today, Nigeria has imposed sanctions in blocking the exports of electricity to Niger. So today, currently, I'll say the vast majority of Niger will not have access to electricity. This is a wake-up call. You've mentioned the coup that happened in Mali. The sanctions were imposed, right? All the borders were closed. All the banks were closed. All the funds, the aids that we received were closed for close to 1 year. But Mali did just fine. This is a wake-up call for African countries to say that we should not be heavily dependent on Western countries, right, for our own stuff.
Yeah.
Mali is we have something in Mali called Office de Niger, which is for production of food. It's bigger than the size of Netherlands 30 times, right? But Netherlands is the second biggest exporter of food, right? Of rice and everything else. But Mali has 30 times the size of that, but we have not been able to sustain ourselves. We still heavily depend on imported rice, imported food for ourselves, which is very sad that we've been having presidents this time that have not been able to address the basic necessities that we Africans are facing. So it's a wake-up call for us to stop depending on them for economic reasons, stop depending on them for the loans that they give us that they call aid, stop depending on them for electricity, we stop depending on them for food and basic services that we have. And that comes with integration, that comes with transforming our products, that comes with working with one another to make sure that we have diversified our interests.
Yeah, but let me ask you this question. What you're saying is very important, but what is so sad is that people are ready. People are ready, as you can see, they're willing to die. They're putting their lives on the line because whether you step outside or you don't, but you're going to die anyways. Yeah. That's what has been happening in our countries, right? Yeah. So people, they're like, you know what? Forget about this. I ain't going to stay inside anymore. I'm going to step outside and speak out my voice. And it's fascinating to see all these guys are actually young people. But what is sad is that we want to get out of this dependence. But then it feels like there's something pulling us back. And in this case, you're talking about these organizations, because what Mali did last year, what Niger are doing right now, you see backlash that is coming from our own organizations. And you say, you just mentioned that Nigeria, they're cutting their electricity. So basically, our own people, we're jeopardizing ourselves. We're pushing each other's down. Like we want to break out from this shackle of colonialism and all this dependence, but we have organizations that are sabotaging us and pulling us down. So in fact, this is not really unity that we preach about, that we talk about, because now the question is, everything that everybody believes is that Ecowas, they're actually working together with friends and, United States to jeopardize what is happening in most of these Western countries in Africa. So even though we want to get out of this shackle of, dependence on their, their money, their aids and everything, but it feels like we have organization that is looking over us, that is highly dependent on them. So we want to get out, but these guys are forcing us to remain the same. How are we getting out of this? The solution is us to get out of ECOWAS. And if we get out of ECOWAS, again, it's division. What are we doing?
I believe that every solution that don't come with multiple people working together is already doomed to fail. We have micro states, right? You have people in America who have individuals who have higher net worth than the whole GDP of Mali. So that is very telling. So we have to come together and agree upon certain things. The idea of just leaving ECOWAS and leaving the franc and everything sounds great, but we cannot do it without working together and without a correct planning. Because in 1960, Guinea did the same thing. Guinea decided to leave ECOWAS and have their own currency. But today, the currency is very, very devalued, and it doesn't have a lot of exposure to the international markets. So it has to be done together. It has to be coordinated. So what you mentioned about ECOWAS and all of these guys, the presidents don't represent the people today, right? You have, for example, in Nigeria, the president is documented that he was part of money laundering from heroin trade. His accounts were closed here in America. It's public. You Google it, you see it. You see the case files. His accounts were closed because he was trading heroin, and he had bad businesses in London. His son bought a mansion for $7 million, and that mansion belonged to a diplomat or a businessman, a Nigerian businessman that also embezzled billions of dollars in Nigeria. The president of Niger today, he's in court because people are contesting, right? There has been a lot of fraud that have happening with the INEC, their electoral commission. So those are public. So we are saying that if you want us to respect your institutions, don't put presidents, don't support presidents that do not represent us. Because right now, the president of Nigeria, with all this history of corruption, with all this history of money laundering and heroin trades and electoral fraud, is the head of the ECOWAS. You can see how there is a disconnection between what the people want and what these institutions want. So I'm not going to say what French and Europeans and Americans are telling Tinubu today, but it's very clear that you support us, we support you. You do this fight against Russian, they say, you do this fight against Pan-Africanism, against these ideologies that have been coming in, and we support you in your mandates, in your tribunal case that is also happening. But Micah, one thing is certain is that the fight will not be easy, right? They have been having a grip on Africa for the longest time. They understand Africa. They understand how everything was. They want it. They want to keep it. The fight will not be easy in order to root them out. It's not going to happen without a fight. It's not going to happen without sacrifice. And I'm sorry, it's not going to happen without a lot of people being casualties. But at the end, we will edge forward every time that these revolutions happen. We'll edge forward towards freedom. And really, what we need is economic freedom. We need to break away from IMF. We need to break away from the World Bank. We need to break away from their aid. Otherwise, we're never going to succeed. But the new generation of leaders in Africa are definitely going to be the change.
That's what I want. I want us to go to that direction. And our brother from Uganda as well will be coming back. You know, he just texted me here that he said, I think these imperialists just disconnected me. You know, there's a lot of censorship in YouTube. He's going through a lot. But I wanna appreciate once again Globalism Blackman for the super chat. As well, I want to appreciate Leo for joining a membership. I appreciate so much. That means a lot to this channel. And also I want to appreciate everybody in the comment section. I can see you guys are talking there. It's gonna be hard to go through all the comment sections, but all the comments. But you know, nearly the end, we're gonna have the moment of, you know, questions and answers. So just prepare that, and you drop any question you have here, and all of us will be here to you know, to answer them. And also do not forget to like, you know, you can share, you can subscribe, you know, you can join memberships, you can join Patreon to keep supporting what we are doing here, to use super chat, super stickers, whatever you choose. Appreciate it. So okay, let's jump to this last. Okay, I think we already covered the puppet leadership imposed by, you know, all these so-called you know, countries, and that's why they highly defend democracy, because they have their own people that they want them to be there, and they're coming in the name of democracy. That, you know, this is what. But by the way, there's not even democracy in the United States, so I don't know what kind of democracy they're talking about. Anyways, let's jump to this last point that I think it's a horizon. One of the things that I really love. I want to share with you guys this video a little bit. The video that I shared here on Swahili Nation couple days ago. It was just very few days by, okay, let me just not say anything, but let me show you guys, because all of you guys have seen this, and we're gonna talk about this at the last point. I want to share this video right here. So I shared this video a couple days ago, and I muted here to make sure that it's all right, by this leader from Burkina Faso. It's transitional leadership. You know, he was there in the, in Russia for Russia-Africa Summit. And, oh, and another thing that I remember, right before I say this. So another interesting thing that I see, you know, I've been watching a lot of Western news covering about the issue that is happening there in Niger. And one of the things that they're saying is about people of Africans raising raising Russian flag. All right, you see people, they've been burning, you know, French flag, but they've been raising, you know, Russian flag, and this has been really bothering them because you say something very important, that Niger is actually exporting uranium to European Union more than any other country, and also, you know, Russia and Ukraine. But now you see that there's this kind of collaboration, and that this what can I say? The people of Niger, they really, it seems like they really want Russia to come in. We're seeing how, you know, Mali and Russia are cooperating one another, but you see the same thing happening there. And, you know, what would you have to say about this? It seems like it's a very scary thing to the Westerners, because they feel like Russia is gaining influence in Africa, talking about BRICS and talking about, you know, all these Western countries, you know, joining hands with Russia. It seems like that. So what would you say about this?
So I can go a lot of ways with regards to that. But the first thing that I will start is, let's start from the earlier start, from the Cold War, when you know, there was like when communism and socialism was taking ground in Africa and in a lot of like Latin American countries. America did everything to stop the rise of communism, to stop the rise of leaders like Fidel Castro and stuff like that. So there is always been an attempt to stop any countries from commercing with Russia, because the ideas that the West shares most of the time doesn't align well with our vision and our cultures and environments, and it just happens that it aligns more with Russian. That's why Cuba has been in the U.S. terrorist list for the longest, although it's not a terrorist state. So raising the flag for Russia, the Russian flag, doesn't mean that we are trying to, at least not a lot of leaders that I know, that I follow. We're not saying that we will replace, right, the West by Russia. Not at all. Because the same if you listen to the conversation, the same people are telling Russian that we will not allow you to extract our minerals and send it to them. We will transform it before you have it. We'll not will not be another puppet of another master. The flag of Russia is nothing but political. It is a message to the West saying that you have failed. we're not saying we welcome Russia to be our puppet, but you have failed us. And this Russian thing is an alternative that we are telling you that we will take. It's a political statement, nothing else. If we go to Mali in 2012, when insurrection was happening, terrorism was on rise, they were ready to attack the capital city, the Malian president called the French president to bring troops and to help us with the aerial support so we can attack those terrorists. When the guy went in France, you can Google it, there was a lot of French flag. People named their kid after Hollande, the French president that time, because they thought that they were going to save us from terrorism, but that didn't happen after 10 years. So we are telling them, you failed us for 10 years, and today we would make sure that you know that we are not happy with your system, we're not happy with your politics, and we will commerce with anybody, we will trade with anybody that aligns with our what we want as a nation. And let's not forget that today they're doing all these fights. They're telling us not to talk to Russia, but they're still trading with Russia today. Them themselves are trading. America is trading with Russia. France is trading with Russia. Germany is trading with Russia. Ukraine trades with Russia. So, how dare you us not to talk to Russia at all? But you do it. The idea of having China, Russia, and anybody else who can help our cause is to diversify our trade partners. So Mali, 90% of the gold in Mali goes to West, 45% goes to 50% goes to London, and 50% goes to Switzerland. So 90% of the untransformed raw gold straight goes there. So if we have only one client buying the gold, how can we tell you to increase the price? How can we tell you to make different trade agreements? So the idea of having the BRICS Bank coming, the idea of having Chinese investors, the idea of having Russian investors is a very good thing for Africa. And it's something that we should welcome, because why not? Because they do the same thing. So you cannot tell us not to do it while you do it.
Yeah. I appreciate it. Then I would love for us to jump to this last conversation that we have today about what I was saying, the rising of African leadership in Africa, and especially the young leaders. And one of the example, I think I'll take this leader of Burkina Faso right now, and I think he captured a lot of hearts of young people, including me myself. Seeing this, it's really fascinating, because back in the days we just used to see old leaders standing there, but right now you see a lot of young leaders stepping out and taking the lead. And not only that, but also you see like young people awakening. Young people, they are more interested right now in politics, knowing what is happening in the countries and standing there to defend. It's really beautiful. And again, you kind of feel like there's always somewhere there to push us back. But anyways, we're gonna make it happen. And I'd love us to talk about that. What would you have to say about the rise of the new African leaders?
So I believe that what has been happening in Mali is that the political lines were always blurred. You couldn't tell where a leader stood when it comes to their conviction and what they really want for the country. In a lot of countries, they have like the right and the left. You can tell X person stands for what, X person stands for what. So right now, that is being more clear. A lot of presidents that we had, all of the democratically elected presidents that we had in Mali were, like I said, Western facing. So right now, the leaders like me, the Pan-Africanists, people who are saying that let's move from that system, that is also being drawn. So in the future, you would have a lot more diversified pool of presidents, right? So you have to bring your argument by explaining how you think the West is the better option for us. And then on the other side, you would have people who believe that this is the system we should break away from. And it's something to be welcomed. There is Sankara has a very good speech where he mentioned that he can be gone, right? You can unmove him. And Assimi said the same thing. You can kill him today, but there's tens of thousands more Assimis who are coming in. So in the future, I promise you that there will be less and less president Western facing. Definitely, at least as long as people like me and you are here, we would make sure that we front them and stop them from being Western puppets.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think personally, I really love how Africa right now is awakening and withdrawing themselves from this Western influence. We see that not only in the western part of Africa, but we saw that last year from like Ethiopia, with the normal movement. We've seen that with Sudan, even today, and praying for Sudan as well. And we're seeing that in so many countries in Africa, even the de-dollarization, the dollarization of dollar, and how everybody just want to break out of that. It's really beautiful. I think there's a big change is happening, but at the same time, it's like what you said. I think there'll be a lot of casualties. People, they say there'll never be peace without a war, right? That you always go through that to you fight for peace. You fight with everything you got. And even me as a believer, the word tells me that try with everything you can to be with peace with anyone. That means you gotta try everything you can just to be with peace with someone. Sometimes you're gonna need to go on a war, so that your people can stay at peace. We were seeing that. We're not praying for that, but it's something that we cannot avoid. So we're sending our regards and our prayers, the people of Niger, and for them to know that we are here actually for them, and they're not alone. And that's why we're having this conversation. We're going to continue to have more conversation because it's very important for us as Africans to share these narratives from African perspectives, because we see a lot of Western media talking about this right now. And, if those guys, if you see Western media talking about whatever issue that is happening in Africa, you have to know that they have interest in it.
Right.
And there's some agendas that they want to, there's some agendas that they want to share. They want everybody to know. They want to change some stuff. You can't really trust what you see on the Western media. And that's why we're having this conversation here. And that's why we continue to have this conversation, to share these narratives from our people. So it's really my prayer to find someone from Niger, because I would love to have someone from Niger to just come here and to have this conversation all over again, with you guys right here. My appreciation to Harry C. Smith for the super chat, and he's asking question there. So you guys, you can also reply why Somaliland is not in a UN or on the maps. It's a sovereign state in every way that matters, in democratic relation with over half of the world. Yeah, that's the question. Anyone who knows that, feel free to drop in the comment section. And also appreciate to Yogi Fish for the super chat as well. Tubrak America is honored to see your strong leaders. Appreciate that, our brother. It feels amazing, to have everybody from everywhere, all over the world, just connecting our people together. So yeah, before I end this session, I'd love to know from you, my brother, your final remarks. Anything that you like to share before you leave us here as well. And also, if people would like to see your podcast or where they can find you, feel free to share as well.
Sounds good. Hey, Micah, appreciate the conversation. Always good to connect with people. And I believe that the Pan-Africanism that we talk about, this is also part of it, opening doors for conversations like this across countries, and making sure that we align and we strategize and we organize and make sure that we are parts of the next movement of leaders and the next change in Africa. So I really appreciate you for that. And I appreciate Swahili Nation for everything that you guys do. I pray that you guys have a lot of success and that good things come for you, good happiness and things flow towards you. What I say is to everybody is just stay educated, right? Try not to fall for propaganda and stay focused. There will always be challenges. There is always, they say what they will say, we just have to focus on what we do, focus on the real work that we have to do, and which is and the fight that we have to do, which is economical freedom. So people would be chatting, people would be against you, people would try to put break your legs while you run, but that shouldn't stop us from moving. If we have to crawl, we crawl. If we have to push each other, we would do it. So yeah, my podcast is in French, unfortunately, and Bambara. Most of it is actually in Bambara because close to 80 to 90% of the news that is consumed in Africa are from French news outlets. So I try to make sure that I speak in the native tongue and for people to really understand it. I don't try to address the elites. I try to address the real people and explain them in plain languages, the problems that we've been facing. And in a lot of time, it's very eye-opening when I tell them that, well, your gold is going to this country. They're very shocked. Like, how can we have let that happen? It's because of the language barrier, and it's because of the lack of access to the right information and people to share it. So I welcome everybody to go and like it. I make sure that I also follow leaders in all countries of Africa to understand what is going on everywhere, and we share insights and push each other. So this has been a great conversation, and I would love to if you need me anytime to talk about the situation, just hit me up. You know how to find me.
Yeah, my brother. But before I let you go, man, I just forgot. Guys, please drop your questions. If you have any questions right now, please drop. We'll go through them and, reply to them before I let my brother go. I'd like for both of us to answer those questions, not me alone. Appreciation to Yogi Fish once again for to joining the membership. Welcome to the family. This is the place you should be. So I really appreciate for Super Chat and also to joining the family. Welcome, my brother. And also appreciate to Dr. Roland for the Super Chats. Appreciate for your generosity. And let me read your comment here. While African countries get out of bed with the West, we also have to be careful of who we get in bed with, including Russia, China, Self-Reliance Africa is the WTG. Well, what is WTG? Kind of old school, so I don't know some other stuff. But I 100% agree with Dr. Roland. This is what I always talk about. This is why I even made a video about the BRICS and why I think BRICS is the distraction to Africa's unity. I made that video, and the people who agreed with me, the people who disagreed with me, but that is my opinion. That even last time when we were talking about Mali, my brother, I think I shared my concern about Mali and Russia as well. And today I'm really glad because you made that clear that doing this it's very political. And I think what Dr. Roland is sharing here, it is very important for us to remember that we are not jumping from one toxic relationship and moving to another toxic relationship without looking ourselves inside. We need to deal with our issues. We need to make sure that we stabilize ourselves. Because, for instance, what is happening in Russia, all the sanctions and everything that they're doing against Russia, Russia is able to survive because of what they have already done to their own country. So today, even if they're sanctioned, it's all right. But we know what happened in Zimbabwe. We know what is happening in Eritrea because of all the sanctions that is happening. And in Africa, in our country, it's very important to do that, to join our hands together. And that's why we fight for one Africa. Let me share with you guys here a little bit for you guys to know what is our vision and what is our mission. Our vision is towards a one Africa of solidarity in peace and love. And this is our mission, right? This is our mission, to defend the image and to bring back all the heritage and sons and daughters of Africa to the continent, to decolonize the mind through authentic knowledge and create the bridge for oneness and a peaceful Africa. This is what we stand for. So I do agree with Dr. Roland that it is very important to establish ourselves. And I think that's the part that we always talk about here at SNOA, that it's very important for us to fight for the unity of Africa, because without unity, there will be no future for Africa. And we need to come together. And right now, it's so sad that we have to start fighting against Ecowas. That, okay, you guys are supposed to unite us, but what are you doing? You're dividing our people. Now some countries might not want to be part of ECOWAS anymore because of what is happening. And this is like it's us going backward instead of going forward. We're supposed to move forward, right? So what you're saying, I do agree with you that any relationship that we're going to engage with, we have not to trust them, but we can still do business with them because it's a business. It's a business. And we need to go with our eyes open that this is the business, and we need not to rely on them 100%, but we need to establish ourselves well. And as long as we both sides, we do understand that, okay, this is your strength, this is our strength. We are putting ourselves together, collaborating, partnering together to move forward, to bring about development to our countries, then it should be fine. And I totally agree with what you say. You want to add anything to that, my brother?
Nah, man, great, very good. I love your mission.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Also appreciate to Poa Chasha. Appreciate. Thank you so much for the super chat. That means a lot. Means a lot. I appreciate. Welcome to the family. Thank you for your generosity. Okay, let's read few questions here. I'm just gonna pick few questions to read. Any question that I'll and any question if you see there, my brother, you would like to answer.
Okay, let me just.
Oh yeah. Then you can pick one question for yourself, and then I'll let you go.
Okay.
Okay. There's one question here from Oli. He says,
yeah,
Russia has a lot of gain from Africa. The teetering towards them should be observed carefully. I have just feel the white has no good plans for the blacks, and it's just putting like a question marks.
I totally agree. Like I said, we're not trying to move from like an imperialist to another. This is the conversations that we need to be telling our leaders, even those like Assimi and in Burkina and all of these other guys, is that you have to make sure that the partnership that you have in Russia, it's not going to be shackles, another shackle. We are not going towards Russia for that notion. We're going towards them for freedom and breaking away from another system and opening our options. So everything that you have, which is actually what the Malian president is saying, is that you will treat us equal to equal. There is no aid. There is no we're helping you for free and nothing. We are business partners and we keep it as that. You're not better than us. We're not better than you. That is the conversation that we have to make sure that we check our leaders on. If we see that certain decisions are being made, although we love them, although we support them, we have to make sure that they know that this is not actually what we want. We're talking about freedom, and we will not allow any other leader or president, whether they're pro us, whether we are pro them or not, to tie us with another country, another superpower.
There's one question for you specifically, and I'll let you go. This is the last one, I promise. What did you hear of Wagner in Mali, in your country? Someone is asking you, Edward.
There is the official statement from my country is that Wagner is not in Mali. But I mean, I don't care. So whether it's aliens, Martians, or biological species from Jupiter, I don't care. As long as the job is being done, like you said, it's partnership. If the West was able to have significant change in this fight against terrorism and jihadism, I would have been very happy. But that has not been happening. So they can't blame us or judge us for going towards any partner that we want, that we feel like is helping us. There is a lot of new equipment that we've been buying from Russia. We have a lot of planes now. We have drones. We have tanks that have coming from there. So there's a lot of instructors that have been teaching, transfer of knowledge of those equipment and how they work. But I'm not one to say that we should refuse partnership with anybody, honestly, because we talk about mercenaries. There's a lot of American Westerners in Iraq and Afghanistan and all of those countries. So if we fight that, we should fight it all together, or just leave us alone and deal with what we want. I saw a question: why is the Mali government not supporting the Dogon against the jihadists? I'm actually a Dogon. I'm from the Dogon tribe. So the thing is, the problem that we also have, that we have to acknowledge, is ethnic conflicts. So the Dogons have been fighting jihadist terrorism for sure, but there is a lot of of conflicts that have also generated, which has led other ethnic groups to also take guns, right? To also start fighting. So a very clear support of one group over the other will just make it way worse, because those two ethnicities have been, it's the Fulani ethnicity. So they have been clashing over time because the land, those are nomads. The Dogons have lands, those are nomads, you come. So there's a lot of conflicts over land. And I believe that is also can be managed it can be managed with good governance. It can be managed with making sure that everybody has the correct land, which is irrigated. Everybody has land that has electricity and wells and water to actually live, because they fight for the water, they fight for the grass, they fight for the land so they can cultivate. Good governance, good leadership can stop that. Instead of supporting, I believe, a militia right on, they should be able to integrate those two, the militias from all over. Because if you're really fighting for peace in your region, who is better than the army of your country? So integrate the army and make sure that the area that you are born in, you protect it with your heart, but wearing the Malian flag on your back. So it's very tricky, it's very challenging. And we have to make sure that we don't support one group over the other. Otherwise, it can lead to conflict like Chad, that have a lot of ethnic conflicts, or Cameroon, the Anglophone and the Francophone, and the French speaking and the English speaking are also fighting because the president is clearly supporting one group over the other. And one point that I will also add to that is how the West is always categorizing, right? For example, they will say there can be a conflict, a small ethnic conflict between two tribes, and then just one go and kill the other. And so when you read the stories from there, it says a terrorist group, a militia group killed a terrorist, or a suspected terrorist was killed by. Those are words that just inflammates the problem. It just makes it way worse. It's not a matter of militia or terrorism and stuff like that. It's just mismanagement that has been happening. It's fights for land, and it's just small ethnic conflicts that can be peacefully mitigated. We have leaders, right? We have municipality leaders, like elders, that will live in all those things. Mali have been very known for being able to squash these conflicts with of communication. So they should use those means. They should be able to bring everybody together without explicitly supporting one group or the other, or giving weapon to one group or the other, because it would always be used to fight the other side, which is not what we want. So I believe that this stance that they have, or just like passively letting them do it. But in the future, I really hope that all this militia group will join the army and fight for the peace in their regions.
Appreciate my brother, man. Let me appreciate you, man, for being here, for taking your time. I just texted you today a couple hours ago.
Yes, always ready,
and you're available. So I love you, my brother, and thank you for your willingness to come here and to join us.
Hey, Africa Unite, I love it.
Africa Unite, appreciate my brother. Have a good one. My regards to your family. Bye bye. Yes. That's my brother right there. And well, appreciation to my brother from Burkina Faso, even though we didn't get to hear a lot from him. Appreciation to our brother from Uganda, Matua Job. You know, I hope I'll have another conversation with my brother from Uganda here. I'm gonna need to have a conversation with him. So you guys stay right there. Don't go nowhere. That is gonna happen one day. And I just want to appreciate him, and also want to appreciate everybody who has been here today. Let me just continue to read a couple questions here before I leave, because it will be very not so good to ask you guys to drop your questions and not even try to answer some of them. There's one question here from Nate, says, matter of fact, guys, allow me to have a little bathroom break, all right? I'll be back in a second. Okay. Hey, family, did you miss me? I missed you guys too. All right. Let me go ahead and read these couple questions and just reduce this music a little bit so that you guys can get to hear me. Where was that question? That question was really nice. Nate, where is that? I'm just losing that question. Where is that question? Nate. Where is your question? Where is your question? Where is your question? Where is your question? Oh my God, I can't believe I lost that question. That was a really nice question. Oh, I didn't memorize, so I don't really know. Nate, if you're here, please drop that question again. This one really wonderful question was here. And I just wanted to share with everybody. We can all reason together and oh, where was that question? I'm trying to find that question. It was a really nice question. Okay, there's someone here, W, say this. What is the real reason for coup? Failure of democracy, presence of foreign militaries, poverty of the people, of the need for power by coupers? All right, I think we really talked a lot about what you just mentioned there, W, the reason for coup. And I think one of the things that is really hurting a lot of people is the presence of democratic governments. And we already say that these countries never really had democratic governments. But most of them are puppet. Most of them are not there for the well-being of the people, but are there as a representative of all these, Western countries. So as a result, people have not really been benefit from their own wealth. It's like, it's a blessing and curse. You have so much in your country. Like right now, say 20% of electricity in France comes from Niger uranium, but in more than 90% of Niger people, they don't have electricity. It doesn't make sense. It's ridiculous. And this is what the current president of Burkina Faso said, that it's really ridiculous that we have everything in Africa, yet we're living this kind of life. We're supposed to be the richest continent on earth. We're supposed to live because we're already the richest continent. We're supposed to be like that, but we're not. So I believe that the reason to have coup is because there's a lot of failure in so many different, spheres, like economically, even security-wise. West Africa, they're dealing with all terrorist group everywhere, and so I don't know really what to say, because I think I can drop this question to all of you guys. Is there a difference, having the democratic government and coup leadership? Is there any difference? Mali have been having that for some time. Is there any difference? What happened in the past and right now? And I remember last year we were having conversation about Mali, and we said more than 200,000 people died in the range of like 10 years. So is there any difference? This is something that I can ask. And if you guys are coming from that area, you can say, and if there's a difference, that's why they prefer coup. That's why you see people from Niger, they're like, you know what, we want this, So yeah, that could be one of the reasons as well. I hope, please God, help me to see that question. There's so many comments here. I appreciate you guys are dropping all these questions, all these comments right here. If I miss that question, then that's it. Okay, I think I'm close to that question. I think I'm close. I remember this. Okay, yeah, this. So Nate said this: what can Africans in the West do to stop the US, AFRICOM, I believe one to say maybe Africa Union, France, and their ECOWAS puppets from going to war? That's really good question. So for me, I think people in the West are already doing something. I was looking at the videos today of people from Niger. They went in front of the French embassy and they're just destroying that place. They're sending message everywhere, and you see the joint venture of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger that, we are ready for anything. You guys bring it on, and we're ready to fight for our people. So the people, they are ready. They're ready for anything. They have been speaking, they've been protesting, they've been sharing, they've been saying that they have been doing everything. Like there's nothing else the people of the West of these countries can do, because they've been doing everything. But I think there's a need for the entire continent, for Africa, not only people of the West, but people from the East, people from the North, people from the South, stand with the people of Niger. Because what matters is not all this politics that is going on between ECOWAS, US, France, and you know, the coup or the government. It's not about that. But we as a people, we have to refocus. We have to look at the people of Niger, that these are people that are affected. There are people, I mean, government leaders, they can actually just leave the country just in a second like that, because they have money to do that. But what about the common Mwananchi? What about the ordinary folk who are there, who cannot go anywhere? Their lives are right there. These are people who usually die. Innocent people, innocent women, children, and even innocent men. Because most of the time we just say innocent women and children. No, and men as well. They're dying. So I think Africa, we must come together. This initiative that we're doing, we must come together and speak. If you are a person from the West, you gotta stand and speak. Last year we were here talking about the sanction that, you know, ECOWAS imposing on Mali, and we say no, this cannot happen. Regardless of whatever that has happened, you cannot do this, because this is going to affect the people, not the government. You're doing that against the government, or you're doing that actually against the people. So what kind of punishment are you going to impose to leaders, but not really to people? Because people, they're innocent. So I believe even people from the West, people from Nigeria, people from Cameroon, people from you know, Central Africa, Congo, people from Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Ethiopia, Somalia, everywhere, people from Libya, people from Egypt, everywhere, we must come together and defend the people of Niger. It's very important. When we raise our voice together, there's a power in unity, guys. Whatever that ECOWAS they want to do, that is, you know, I've actually seen people from Nigeria actually speaking about that. There's one video going viral. This guy was speaking and questioning ECOWAS, that you guys, where have you been? What have you done so far to improve whatever that is happening? Where have you been? So it's a time for us individuals to speak. Because if people speak, then we know that ECOWAS, they're not really speaking for us. They're speaking for themselves or for someone else that is boss to them, but not for the people. These organizations, African Union, ECOWAS, EAC, SADC, they're supposed to be there to represent people, not otherwise. But what is happening is not there for the people. Yeah, so what can Africans in the West, not only in the West, in the East, in the North, in the South, in the diaspora? Because I always say that Africa is one big family with 55 different children, 54 countries in the continent, and one diaspora all across the world, African descendants. It's the time to come and to, so do this, guys. Pray for Niger, speak about it, do everything you can. That's what we do here in SNOA. We speak, we bring our people here, we do anything we can, anything. You know, I'm ready to go to Niger. Last year I wanted to go to Mali. Finance was just the only issue, but I'm ready to go to Niger, to be there with my people, to talk to my people, to have a conversation with them. Yes, I know it's dangerous, but I want to go there because my fellow Africans, they're in danger and they're there right now. Ready to go there and talk to my people, to cover whatever that is happening, because Western medias are there covering these things. I'm willing to go there and to stand with my people. Because if we cannot stand for one another, then why are we here? Why are we here? Are we here to stand before these cameras and mics and speak and just, are we here for that? Oh, we're here really for our people. We're here for our people. I'm ready. I'm ready to go there. To share with you guys, to show you guys what is happening. We can't run away from these things, man. This is our family. We're Africans. We're one people, regardless of these borders, these artificial borders that were imposed by colonizers so that they can manage and control us. And they're trying to do the same thing today. 50, 60 plus years of independence, man. We cannot allow that. You cannot run away. We can't run away from this. We gotta face it. with everything we got. And if it is the way that we're going to live, then let it be for the glory of God. But you gotta stand and defend our people, man, by being with them. So that's why I really appreciate you guys that showed up here today, because it shows how much you care about what is happening. And I hope, you know, people from Niger are watching this. It might be an issue with the language barrier, but I hope you're watching this so that you understand, you know, that we're here for you. Dr. Roland says, let's remember that the whole of Africa came out of 4 major languages group, so we are more related than we know. Africans 50 years or younger must know this. Absolutely. That's the speech that all the time Museveni has been talking about, that we are more similar than you think, guys. These 54 countries, don't let it fool you. We're coming from 4 groups, and all these 4 groups are connected. Go and watch a lot of videos that we share here of Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. He has been really teaching that a lot. Let me see, guys. Hopefully I can find more. Oh, to Niger. It's good to see to Niger. Niger say issue with black military leaders is that they often refuse to transition to civilians. Mali has been there for 2 years now, at least. Egyptian leader had already transitioned by 3rd year in office. You know, and this is the thing. So what we've been talking here about today, it seems like what they want. Oh, this is what I've heard. This is what I've heard from this conversation, is that it's almost so hard to to do that, because most of the time when you see a leader is there, but he's there for someone else. He or she has been placed there by someone else for the benefit of them and not really the people. So maybe that's one of the reasons why it becomes very difficult. You know, if people are living in peace, if their lives are improved, why not? Why not? Because at the end of the day, man, we want to develop. At the end of the day, we want to have a basic need. And if you have a military leadership that is taking care of that, why not? At the end of the day, people matter. And the voice of the people matter. If people say yes, who are we to oppose that? Dr. Roland, I appreciate for another super chat. I really appreciate for your giving. This means a lot, Doctor. So we need to stop being defined by the language of out colonizers, but by our common origin and heritage. In Yahweh, Jacob's children. Absolutely, 100%, 100%, 100%. All these different languages that we talk, you know, it's different. But then, you know, I went to Ethiopia last year so many times, even this year as well. I went once, and I went to some regions that I did not even speak their language. They did not understand my language. I did not speak their language, but we were highly connected because we're Africans, and that's what united us. Absolutely, 100%. Let me see a few more questions here, and I'll be wrapping up. All right. Oh man, there's so many comments. I think I've never seen this kind of comments. All right. I don't see any other question here. Yeah, I appreciate all the countries. So you guys, maybe at the end, just drop where you're watching from. Any country, maybe in Africa, even outside of Africa, just drop in the comment section. Let me know where you're watching from. I'm gonna shout out that your countries and everywhere you're watching from, and then we'll be finishing up. I'm gonna wrap up with a word of prayer, and then I'll be finishing up. Once again, I want to appreciate all the members that joined us today. We have Ezra, His Excellency Ezra. We have John Kofi. We have Veins of African Blood. We have Leo. All these are new members. Family, so family, a round of applause to our people right here. We appreciate you guys. I love you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for showing up. It means a lot. Also, special appreciation for all the super chat, Curtis, Michelle, and from Globalism Black Men. Super chat from Harry C. Smith, Yogi Fish, and also for Chasha, and also Dr. Roland 2 times. So we appreciate you guys. For those who would like to join the membership, I'm gonna drop the link in the comment section. This is how you're helping this channel to go forward. That's the link for membership. And for those who would like to join me on Patreon, the link is actually in the comment section. I pinned all the way to the top. You can click that link and get to my Patreon. I'll share again here as well. I want to appreciate you guys for that giving. For any inquiries, business and collaborations, you can reach out to us at oneafrica@gmail.com. And also, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe, share, and Patreon. It's very important. Very important. Let me tell you something little quick here, and then I'll be finishing. All right, let me tell you this. Hey guys, 93% of people who are watching our channel, Swahili Nation, have not yet subscribed. Only 7% of the viewers in this channel have subscribed. What does that mean? It means a lot of people are coming in this channel to watch videos, but they do not want to be engaged, to be a part of this family and to support this movement and what we're working for towards One Africa in our generation. So my request to all of you guys, if you really like our content, you like what we're doing here in Swahili Nation, please do me a favor and subscribe to this channel. Don't do just that. Turn on notification button. Don't stop there. Like the videos we share. Share with your friends. Leave your comments, your opinions, so that we may actually interact in the comment section, know what is happening. If you would like to support us even more financially, you can join the Patreon. The link is below. And also you can join us and become a member of this family. So please, guys, do us a favor. When you subscribe, when you like, when you share, you help us to reach to as many people as we can. We want this world to be filled with the positive message about Africa and One Africa, and we want the message to go all across the world. So help us by becoming part of this family. I love you. Oh yeah, family. Yes. Little announcement there. For those who did not subscribe yet, please do that. It means a lot to us and to this family. It will help us to reach out to as many people as we can out there. All right. And also, guys, today, right before this live stream, we released a video about, the same thing. So please go and support that video. I'll be sharing with you guys soon after this for you guys to just see it here. But let me share the link in the comment section for you guys to actually go and to support that video. All right, that video is, if you go on our YouTube channel, let me show you here, guys, for you guys to see. This is our YouTube channel. All right, if you go on our YouTube channel, just go to videos, and you'll find it right here. It's this one, 4 hours ago. This one, why Niger is so attractive to them. And you can go, you can support, show some love in that video as well. Let me copy here the link and share with you guys. For those who haven't seen it yet, please go and share with the people of Mali. I hope I can have some. I hope someone, if there's anyone out there who can actually translate, in French, would really appreciate. We like to put captions in French in this video so that we can share with our brothers and sisters, because it's a message for them as well. Let me share here in the comment section. Yeah, and I'm always really glad. A lot of people here, they're sending emails in oneafricaofficial@gmail.com. So I really appreciate, man. Sometimes we might take a little bit long time to answer because we have been really having a lot of things going on. But, we read them and we'll always get back to you. So I really appreciate for everybody who is sharing those emails. So, yeah. If for anything, let me just go ahead and raise a word of prayer, and then I'll be leaving you guys with that video here. It is very important to pray. Here in Swahili Nation One Africa, we believe in the power of prayer. Stay pushed until something happen. There are things that we can do, and there are things that we can. The only thing that we can do is just pray. For example, right now, what is happening in Niger, we are limited, but thank God for the internet and everything. We can talk and share, but also we can push. All right, we can push for the peace. We can push for the stability of our people. Whatever belief you have, you can still pray. We can still pray together as a family and remember our people in our prayer. We always say this, that here in this family we don't hide our beliefs. All right, whatever you believe in, it's on you, and we'll always keep God first in everything. Because without Him, I believe that there's nothing that can be done. So I'm just gonna raise a word of prayer, and you guys, you can pray with me in the comment section as they're there. I think we can end with that note. You can just comment some beautiful message of prayer in the comment section to the people of Niger. Show them that we are together and we are here for them. So yeah, feel free to drop your comment. Yeah. God, I thank you for today. I thank you for this conversation that we had. Our brothers who came here and thousands of Africans who joined us here today to just talk about this beautiful country, Niger. I thank you for everything. Africa, it has been struggling for so long time, and our people have been dying and killed, even us, killing each other is what has been happening in this continent over and over and over again. And then we see a lot of interest of different countries, different nationals, and sometimes it's scary seeing this one country, how much so many countries are just wanting to stabilize. And what's saddening is that even when we wish to see other African countries standing in solidarity with them, it's not happening. It's kind of like everybody's fighting their own wars, busy fighting their own wars. Sudan busy fighting their own wars. Ethiopia, Congo, Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso. But God, we know that what we cannot do, you are there. So we just want to pray for our people. Right now, we want to pray for the peace of Niger. I want to pray that God, may you remember them. May you remember our brothers and sisters there, brothers and sisters in Sudan, our brothers and sisters in different corners of Africa that are not living in peace, are not sleeping in their own beds. They're worrying, they're running for their lives. Remember them tonight. May your grace. You say, if my people are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn away from their wicked ways, therefore I'll hear from heaven, I'll forgive their sins, and I'll heal their land. That's your promise, God. So today, in solidarity, together, we pray for our brothers and sisters that you forgive our sins, and may you remember us, and may you remember them. We pray for the stability of their nations. We pray for the wisdom to their leaders. Pray for the wisdom, God, that we choose what is right for our people, what is right for our countries. Nothing is impossible to you. So we return everything to you. All the glory, honor, and praise. Thank you for what you have been doing and for what you're about to do. We return all the glory to you, God. Bless you, Most High God. We thank you. In your precious name, receive all these things. Amen.